Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razek at CM Trading. Today is July 8th, 2019, and today is Monday morning. So no major economic events scheduled for today as we're really in the heart of the summer. Last week we did have the NFP, but let's take a look at the markets. As speaking about the forex markets, Canadian dollar is very strong and has gotten much stronger versus the US dollar, but the majors are still soft. There's a little bit of a discrepancy between the forex symbols, and we'll take a look at that in just a moment. Now, looking at the indices, the Dow Jones hit all-time highs last week with a great NFP results, but then is selling off this morning. And the question is why, and we're going to answer those questions as well. Now, looking at the commodities, gold and oil finding some kind of ground. Okay, they've had rallies, they've sold off, and they're looking for some kind of range to trade within. We're going to take a look at that as well. And lastly, looking at the U.S. stocks, Microsoft, Facebook, Amazon are all on their 6-month highs. We mentioned this last week, but the question is, how much longer? Because the Dow Jones looks like it's getting weaker and the stocks are still strong, and there's a little bit of a discrepancy there as well. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So we're jumping here into a daily chart of the Euro USD, as you can see, and we've sold off quite significantly from our 114.20-ish level down to this 112.25-ish level, and we're, guess what? We're at close to support, okay, multi-year support, because we're looking at a daily chart. So this is a multi-month support area, 122 to 112-ish area, okay? So I would actually be looking to get a little bit long here in the anticipation that's going to bounce. However, we're still in this subtle upwards trend. Okay, this is why I'm saying this, and this is why I'm a little bit more aggressive on the upside this time as we, somewhat consolidate around this area and look to actually continue this upwards trend. You could draw a very subtle trend line here. Okay, it's not beautiful because it's not as sharp as maybe some of the other ones that we look for, but it is still a higher low. Okay, from our 1195-ish area right here. So as long as we sustain this might be a decent place to actually enter it. Now, looking at the Aussie USD, we did sell off there also last week, okay, after hitting this massive 70.95-ish level, and then we're trading at 69.90-ish level right now. And this is something to make note of, because ultimately, it did retrace and it is looking to bounce. So I would look for the euro and the Aussie to be the ones to bounce versus the dollar. The GBP has been really weak for the obvious reasons. Now, jumping into the US Canadian dollar, we're looking at a daily chart as well. And as you can see, this has really gone from 135 down to 130-ish level, possibly because of the price of oil, possibly because the NAFTAs are finally coming into full effect with the U.S. Canadian trade deal. So all these things are behind us. Okay, so since all these things are behind us, it looks like Canadian dollar is getting stronger. Now, if we do break this area and break this 130-ish level, we could hit the 128-ish level, and this will become multi-year areas that we haven't hit. So we're really there. So I would look for this breakout. I really would look for this breakout because we're at that support level. Okay, and if we do break it, that means we will make a correction on the downside to the 128-ish level. I mean, back in the day, I remember when the US dollar was 1-to-1 versus the Canadian dollar. And so what's been happening to oil over the past 3-4 years has really taken effect on the Canadian dollar. So with that said, okay, if we do see the price of oil continue to rise, we may see the Canadian dollar continue to strengthen as it gets closer to the parity of 1-to-1 versus the US dollar. Now, looking at gold and oil, pretty much looking for a trading range, okay? When we're developing that right now, okay? 1382 is the bottom of the range, 1436 is the top of the range, and we're somewhere smack in the middle of that, okay? So nothing really to jump in here, but just to be aware that this is finding a new range to trade in, okay, until there's some sort of impetus to take us either higher or lower and making that type of correction in the market. Now, looking at oil as well, we did hit $60 a barrel last week and then selling off sharply to $55. And now we're at 57.63. So pretty much at the same pace as the gold, where we're right in the smack in the middle of these two ranges. Okay, so still finding some footing here, so I'm not jumping into it. Now looking at the Dow Jones, we sold off here last week after this NFP report. We actually, this NFP report, we actually capitulated here at 26,734-ish level, and then rallied all the way to 26,950-ish level, not hitting the 27,000 mark, and then selling off. Okay, so what is going on with the markets? I mean, if it's great, you know, NFP results, why is the market selling off? So the obvious question is sometimes these numbers are actually factored in already. Meaning to say that the numbers, although that they beat the estimates, they're already expected to beat the estimates. So the market is just responding and saying, okay, nothing new here, okay? And since we are at resistance area, especially at 27,000, which is all-time record highs, the market wants to consolidate at that point. People want to take money off the table. They're not as sure as themselves at this area. Okay, so with that said, we are also during the summer months of trading. So this is something to really consider. Okay, and usually August, end of July, we kind of sell off in the markets right before September. So this actually might capitulate and we may find ourselves selling off a little bit more sharply. What is letting me not think that way is because the majors are not doing that. If we looked at Microsoft, it's back on its all-time highs, near its all-time highs on 136. Google at its not all-time highs, but you know, definitely, you know, bouncing from its lows. If we look at Facebook, it is near its all-time highs at 197-ish area. So these things have gotten much stronger. Okay, looking at Amazon as well, we're at that top of that range of 2000. Okay, so this is really something that the markets, you know, have really rebounded from our major sell-off back in February, Marchish area, and now we're just making some sort of headway here since then and really closing that gap. So it's really imperative to really see where we're going to go with this and just really focus on the markets right now, especially the Dow Jones, because if it does, you know, break out from its 27,000, it could go to 27,500. Okay, but if it does not, then we may see it sell off sharply. Okay, that's just the reality of it. Okay, so just be aware that it might not happen today or tomorrow because we are in summer months and things have been pretty much subsided, but you do want to be prepared for it if it does happen because, you know, you'll get some volatility out of it. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.